I want to tell you about the moment that I realized I was a fraud. Not an exaggeration, but an actual fraud. I was standing on the side of a Texas road in the middle of nowhere, and it dawned on me that everything I had been saying, I hadn't been living my entire life. Let me tell you about my friend Matt Johnson. He's an ultramarathon runner, an endurance athlete, and literally ran across the entire state of Texas not once, but twice. I met him right before he ran across Texas for the second time, starting in Oklahoma and running all the way to Mexico. All of it was to raise money for veterans in Valor Fit, and he was giving it all away back to Valor Fit in that community. When I heard what he was doing, I felt inspired to have myself and the GoBundance community show up to support him. So at an event, I asked the members if they'd be willing to back him, and we'd be willing to show up as a community of men making a stand for him and what he was doing. We raised $50,000 that night, and the next day I got the privilege of meeting him in Fredericksburg, Texas, to run with him for just 5 simple miles and present him with our donation.
I have a very, very, very good friend joining me today, the CEO of GoBundance, Matt King.
I've seen the power of community. There's this saying that eagles soar with eagles, they don't soar with pigeons. And what Valor Fit's doing is it's making sure that those eagles, when they're in the military, can remain eagles through the community that they get put back into through the CrossFit community. So look, man, I shared with the GoBundance members what you're up to, run across Texas, challenge them to step up in a big way. We're incredibly excited and honored to be able to present you, Valor Fit, with a $50,000 donation from our GoBundance members to support you, the run across Texas, but more importantly, to support the veterans.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yay!
Yeah, we can save a lot more lives. That's what that does. We can do so much, and we can put those veterans in a position to succeed. And with that money, we get to do it a whole lot more.
That's right, man.
When I was out there running with him, I was just in awe that this man put his entire life on hold for 19 days to literally run from Oklahoma to Mexico, all for a cause bigger than himself and all for people whom he'd probably never meet. That morning, when I was with Matt, I realized that one of the core pillars of GoBundance, which I'm the CEO of, is genuine contribution. It's all about leaving the world a better place. And ever since I can remember, I had always talked about wanting to make an impact in the world, wanting to do something bigger than myself, wanting to leave this world that we live in better than I found it. Yet there I was in Fredericksburg, Texas, looking at Matt actually doing what he said he was going to do. And me, I was standing on a stage preaching to men about living a life of genuine contribution, but yet I wasn't doing anything myself. And it was in that moment I realized that I'm a fraud. My words and my actions aren't in alignment. And that was the moment that really sparked this idea that became the ride. So after running with Matt, I got in the car to drive home. It was just an hour and 15-minute drive, but I had so much time to reflect and think on what can I do that would actually have my words and my actions be in alignment. The first thought that came to me was, what can I do from a running perspective? But having ruptured my Achilles tendon twice, I realized that running was just not a good idea. And so it dawned on me, maybe I should ride my bike across Texas. Now, to give you some context, I had never ridden my bike more than 10 miles. And as I thought about riding my bike, I thought, Matt just ran that distance. How can I possibly justify riding my bike that same distance and it actually making a difference? And so it hit me. I'll ride my bike from Mexico to Canada, all in an effort to raise money for people in overlooked communities and give every dollar away on that journey. When I got back to the office that day, I talked to Holly on my team and I told her what my idea was. Like she always does with my ideas, she just kind of looked at me and nodded and said, I think that's a great idea. Now, I didn't want to tell my wife because I wasn't sure how she would respond. I wasn't yet ready to tell other people on the team because I wasn't sure how they would respond either. But as a leader, I know that planting the flag is very important. So rather than telling the people closest to me, I told people publicly what I was gonna do. Before I started training, before I'd ever ridden a bike, before I had figured out any of the logistics, I planted that flag in the ground and said, I'm gonna ride my bike from Mexico to Canada, all in an effort to raise $1 million and give every dollar away along the journey. As a leader, I think it's very important that you establish what you stand for and what you stand against. And as somebody who is preaching to stand for the world and making it a better place, I wasn't doing it with my actions. Leaders set the tone. They're the ones that put the flag in the ground and say, this is what we're doing, this is where we're going. And yet, as the CEO of an organization, I wasn't doing that myself. The standard you hold yourself to becomes the culture of the people you surround yourself with. Leadership is about committing before you're ready, not by mistake, but by intentionality. So I want to leave you with the same question that changed everything for me, and it came from my mentor, David Osborne. He said, where in your life are your actions and your words out of alignment? He literally drew a Venn diagram on the screen, and on the left side, he said words, and on the right side, he said actions. He said, wherever those two things are in alignment, go in the middle column of that Venn diagram. If you do the same thing, you will see where your words and your actions are in alignment, and maybe even more importantly, where they're out of alignment, where you need to plant a flag, take a stand for what you believe in, and actually charge toward the life you desire. This is episode 1 of the Reflections from the Ride, my 1,886 mile bike ride from Mexico to Canada, all in an effort to raise money and give it all away. We raised $763,000 and gave it away to all the people we met along the journey. This is my effort to unpack, digest, and share with you the lessons I learned along that journey. If you're interested in the written form, check out the link below in the description and subscribe to my newsletter called From the Saddle, where I reflect on all of the lessons I'm learning in life, business, and on the ranch, and share it with you so you can apply it to your life.